Hey everyone, how you doing? In this video, I'm going to talk about how to compare builders, how to tell the price difference and why there's a price difference between builders. What are the differences? Why is one builder $30,000 more than another builder? There's a lot of different reasons why one builder can cost more than another builder, or why builders are just different. There's a ton of different ingredients or materials or products that you can use in a home. There's a lot of different methods that can be used with building a home. There's so many different things. You know, one home builder may have built a home for himself, or maybe he used a builder and he had certain things that he wanted done in the home, and certain products that he wanted to use, certain windows, certain type of bath fan, just, you know, things like that. And then they went on to become a home builder, and they said, okay, you know what, these are the things that I put into my home when I built, so these are the things that I'm going to make, you know, standard in all of the homes that we build. So there's a lot of different ways that builders come up with what they're going to use in a home. You know, another builder may be more about the initial cost and expense, and so now they're going to be looking at price point. Okay, what is the most inexpensive window that I can find, or what is the most inexpensive, you name it, that I can find and use in the home, because I want to keep the price point down as low as I can. So there's so much to look for, and there's so much to compare. So I think the first thing that you need to do if you're looking for a home builder is determine what type of home is this that you want to build. Is this your forever home? A home that you want to build to last. You're okay with spending money on superior products because you know you're going to be there for a long time. You're okay with, you know, upgrading your HVAC and your insulation and sticking that money into it now because you know that you're going to be there for the long haul, and those things are going to pay you back in time. Or are you looking to, okay, I'm going to build this home, I'm going to live in it for 5 to 10 years, and then I'm going to build my forever home. You know, so then maybe in that case, you're looking to do more middle of the road. You know, you're going to live there for 5 to 10 years, so you want to make sure you're living in a nice home. You want to make sure you're not going to have problems with the home. So you're going to use, you know, middle of the road. You don't want to spend too much on it because you're not going to be there forever, but at the same time, you want to get your money back on what your investment is, and even make money on the home. Or, you know, maybe this is kind of your, you know, usually first-time buyers aren't building houses. Let's just say this is your home build, and you plan on doing more after this. And maybe you're building in a neighborhood, your budget is a little bit lower, so you're building in a neighborhood where lots are smaller, a little bit more or a little bit less expensive for the lot and the home packages. Maybe most of the homes in that neighborhood are all kind of that you know, builder grade track home style, that type of home. So you're wanting to basically get into a home for the least amount of money that you can, because you're not going to be there long, and you plan on doing this again, and you know that you're going to kind of go through this experience. You're going to pick up some knowledge. You're going to know what you like and what you don't like with certain products, and then you can move forward from there. So that's, you know, I think the first choice that you need to make is what type of home is it that you want to build. Now from there, you can start looking at builders, you know, because you're not going to go to a track home builder that's offering home and lot packages for $399 if you're looking to build your forever home, or you shouldn't anyways. And even if you're looking to build that middle of the road home, you may, you know, with the middle of the road home, be looking for kind of a semi-custom builder, you know, a builder that's got floor plans. They can vary off of the floor plans a little bit, or you can even bring in you know, home planner design as well. If you're building your forever home, you're going to want to make sure that especially if you want some custom things in there, and you really want to, you know, think through and go through that design process, you're going to want to make sure the builder you choose is able to accommodate for that. So choosing what type of builder that you want, what type of home that you want is the first thing. Now you're going to start looking at builders. You're still going to have big discrepancies, because let's say I'm looking at that middle of the road home builder. I'm building my home I'm going to be in for 5 to 10 years. So there's a lot of different builders out there that can fit that category. Now you may be looking at two builders. They've both got, you know, decent reputations. You've heard good things about both of them. You know people that have built with both of them. From what you can see anyways, they both seem to be able to build the home that you want. You know, you've gone into both of their models. They both appear to, you know, to look okay. That's kind of the first place that you're going to start, is in the model. And you're going to be looking at things that, especially looking for quality. You know, you're going to look at the miters for the trim work. That's basically where two pieces of trim are meeting together. If you've got, you know, a trim running up the side of the window and another one over top of the window, where they meet together is called a miter. And if a good trim carpenter has trimmed out that house, it's going to be a tight miter. You're going to have a tight, clean seam. If it's a not so great trim carpenter, then you might see a little bit of sloppiness. You might see a little bit of a gap. That can tell you a couple things. The builder isn't spending a lot of money. They're not using the best trades that are out there. They don't care about that as much. They're not eyed in on that detail as much. Floor joists in the basement. Our builders using a 2x10 full dimensional piece of lumber, so that's just a solid 2x10 piece of lumber, or are they using I-joists? An I-joist is basically a manufactured floor joist. It's not going to twist or bow or warp. You're not going to have movement with it. It can span a greater distance, so it can carry more of a load. There's usually less like flex or bounce in the floor when it comes to that. The closet shelving, are they using a wire shelf or are they using wood in the closets? And a lot of times the builders that are using wire shelving in the closets, it's just one row. You know, you go into the master walk-in closet and it's one row of wire shelf, whereas the other builder that's using wood has got 2 rows of shelf and pole. Look at the thickness of the glass in the master shower door. If most homes now are going to have a tile shower in the master bath, look at the tile floor. Is it a tile base, or is it just a pan, basically a one-piece base? Usually, not all the time, but usually when those are used, it's because they're trying to conserve money. The tile shower's a little bit smaller than a tile shower that's got a tile floor to it. Look at the thickness of the glass for the shower door. Is it a thin glass, or is it like a 1/4 inch or even 1/2 inch thick glass? You know, these are different things that you're going to look at and notice and start to get a feel for why one builder is going to be more expensive than another. And we're going to kind of come back to those things and tie those things in with the pricing and why one builder is more than another. One of the other things that you can look for are cabinets. You know, do the drawers, are they solid wood drawers? Do they have the soft close with them or not? You know, windows, are the windows double hung or single hung? So single hung window means that the bottom portion of the window opens and closes, but the top does not. That's just a fixed piece of glass. Whereas a double hung window, both of those upper and lower sashes move up and down. Now the double hung window costs a little bit more than the single hung window. Is the builder using trim around the windows, or is the drywall just returned into the window? If the drywall is on the wall and then returns into the window, that means that the window doesn't have a window jamb. So basically, when you're putting a window in a 6-inch thick wall, the window's on the outside of the wall. You still have 6 inches between the glass and the drywall. The jamb is the piece of trim or material that basically covers and extends the window from where it is to the drywall. And then you would have trim that goes around the window. So if a builder is not using any of that, they're just returning the drywall into the window, well, that costs less money. You're eliminating trim around the windows. You don't have the window jams. So there's a lot of different things that you can look for and kind of get a feel for, okay, this builder is really concerned about their quality. They are using what seems to be higher end products in the home, and that's attributing to a price difference. So a lot of times you'll get base prices from a home builder. Maybe you're out there meeting with different builders, you're walking through those models. Again, those are going to be some of the things that you're going to want to look for and pay attention to, so that you can start to recognize, okay, this builder has better quality than this builder. And later on down the road, when the builders give you the pricing, you'll kind of understand a little bit more why one builder's pricing is less or more than another builder's pricing. So again, when it comes to comparing the builders and comparing their pricing, you're going to go into their model homes. A lot of these builders are going to give you, you're going to say, hey, how much is this model here? I really like the floor plan, the design, the layout of this home. How much is this model? Well, it's a base price of $350. And then they'll give you the standard features list. That's what's included with the base price. And then you're in another builder's model, and you say the same thing. What's the base price, or what is the price for the home that we're in here for this model? Well, the base price of this home is $375. And then they're going to give you their standard features lists, or you should be asking for the standard features lists. That's one of the things right off the bat that could tell you why one builder was $350 for their base price and the other one was $375. You can look through that standard features lists, compare them side by side. Maybe one of the builders is including building permits, site improvements, and concrete driveway, and the other builder wasn't. So there's your $25,000 difference right there. So you want to compare the standard features lists, look at them side by side, and write down things that you see on one but not on another, and that's going to help you understand and be able to compare the builder and understand why there might be a price difference. Now, one tip I just want to throw in, the base price is really meaningless, because nobody ever, even the lowest end homes that we build, the most cost efficient homes that we build, trying to meet the lowest budget that we build, nobody ever builds the base house. You just can't do it. There are things that are not, the base price includes many things, but there are just some things that it does not include that people need in their home. So don't be fooled on the base price, and don't go into a home and ask what the price is and they tell you, oh, it's $350 for the base price, the lots are $60,000. Oh, great, I'm going to be all into this for $410. No, you're not. So the base price, where we build and how we build homes, I've got a pricing sheet that I give to customers. And basically what I can do that allows me to give pricing to customers quickly is I've got a whole list of everything on this price sheet that's included with our homes. So everything on this price sheet that's included in the base price says included. But then I've got all of these other line items, like adding an egress window in the basement, upgrading the front door to be a stainable fiberglass front door as opposed to just a flat steel painted door, garage door openers, because those actually aren't included in our base price. That's a little thing, you got to look at what everybody's, one guy may include garage door openers, the other doesn't. That's $500 to $1,000 right there, depending on how many openers there are in the house. But going back to what I was talking about before, I've got a number of these extras, and these are extras that pretty much everybody that we build for puts into their homes. And it ends up totaling a little over $60,000. In addition to what I just kind of called out before, that would also include upgrading the plumbing fixtures. So you've got different styles to pick from in a brushed nickel finish instead of the included polished chrome finish that's included with the base price. That is upgrading the cabinet so that you've got the soft closed drawers with the solid wood drawer box. There's a whole spew of things that people, these are the things that people do in their homes that everybody pretty much does. So that totals about $60,000. Now, most people end up adding even on top of that. So if somebody's telling you the base price is $350 for this build, you know, at least where I am and how we build, when somebody asks what the price is of our Alexis model, one of our floor plans, I'm going to say, okay, the base price for that home's $400. People, they're automatically going to be doing the $60,000 of extras on top of that. So the build cost realistically to build that Alexis home is going to be $460,000. Now you can spend more than that as well, but that's a realistic build cost. So just understand that when these builders are giving you prices, they may just be trying to give you that low price to get you in the door to get things started. So make sure when you're in a builder's model and you're asking, hey, how much is it to build this house here? Make sure that you specify with them, how much does it cost to build this house, everything I see in this house, the site improvements, everything. I want everything that's in this house, pick it up, put it on my lot, what's the build cost? Then, you know, they're giving you a more realistic price. Because a lot of times when you're in a model home, you're liking what you see in that model home, and a lot of times that ends up being, those end up being finishes that you want in your home. So it's best to just have them figured into the pricing right off the bat. And then for you as the customer, for you as the builder, the salesperson, if you're figuring all these things in right off the bat, it's just going to make for a better experience. Because if you're just being told what the base price is, and then every step of the way, as you get more and more into this building process and start learning more about certain things and specifying about more things that you want, the price just continuously goes up. So you came in thinking the building cost was, you know, $400,000. By the time you're done going through everything, it's $500,000. Now you're mad because the price is so much higher than you thought it was. It took a month to come to the determination that $400,000 wasn't even a realistic price. So whether you're the consumer, make sure you get that, you know, give me the high price up front. Give me the bad news up front. If you're a salesperson, if you're a builder, if you're the consumer, that's just the best way to do it. Give me the realistic price. Give me the bad news up front. You can digest that, and at least now you're off to a better starting point. This home price that you've been given is now including a lot more. So back to what we were talking about before and comparing the builders. Look at those standard feature lists. That's going to tell you why one builder may be less than another. A lot of times when you're going into model homes, you're going to be looking at floor plans that one builder's offering compared to another, and they may be similar. You may walk into one builder's model and they've got 3 bedrooms, a flex room off of the foyer, or an office off of the foyer, and it's a real open concept from the kitchen into the living room. Dinette's bumped off the back of the kitchen area. And then you go into another builder's model and they pretty much have the exact same thing. Similar layout, very open. It's similar square footage. But the things that you're not realizing, and you know, because maybe builder A, his price is $40,000 less than builder B. Maybe all their standard features are the same, or there's only a few little differences. So you're looking and comparing standard features, and that's not adding up. You're saying, okay, there's only a few things that are different, not $40,000 worth of things that are different. So what else could it be? Well, the floor plans, the model that you're in. If you can ask the builder, hey, do you have a floor plan flyer for this home, or you can go on their website and see it. You're getting that floor plan flyer for each of the builder's homes, and you're going to put them side by side, and you're going to look at certain things. And even when you're in the house, you're going to look at these things as well. So again, both builders' homes, similar square footage, Similar open concept. They've got the same amount of rooms, bedrooms, and bathrooms. So why is this guy so much more than this gal? Well, look at the ceiling heights. Maybe one of the builders is doing 10-foot ceilings in the foyer and the living room, and it drops down to 9 foot in the kitchen and the eating area. The other builder has still got 10 foot in the foyer, but he's got 11 foot in the great room, and he's got 10 foot in the kitchen and the dinette. Now you've got some difference there, some cost difference with the ceiling height. There's also windows. So the windows that are on the back wall of the great room and the eating area are now a foot taller in the builder's home that had the taller ceiling. So there's more glass as well. There's more window. Now we've got two things that are breaking into why one is more than the other. If you look at you can count the amount of interior doors in the house. How many interior doors are in one builder's house compared to the others? Does one builder have more pocket doors in their house than the other? Here's where we go back to when you're in the builder's model, looking for those quality things. Is the one builder using wire shelving or wood shelving? Do they have trim around the windows or window jambs? Do they have, does one home have a lot more recessed lights than the other? Does one home, this is something that you're going to look for when you're kind of comparing the plans next to each other. Does one home have more exterior corners than the other home? So that's something that what you can do is you can lay down both plans next to each other and just circle the corner, every corner on each plan, and then count how many corners there are. You may find one's got 16, one's got 20. You can count the interior doors from putting the floor plan side by side as well. You can kind of look at cabinets, like maybe you're in the house and this particular home has a bigger island than the other home. Even though the kitchen's the same size, one home has an island that's 4 feet wide by 11 feet long. The other one is 3 foot wide by 10 foot long. One home has a double bowl vanity in the main bathroom. The other one has just a single sink in the bathroom. So there's all these different things to be looking at on the floor plan, on the, when you're inside the house, the standard features list. If you can identify some of these things and you can lay standard features list side by side and call out what the differences are, make a list of what the differences are, put the plans next to each other, count the amount of windows, foundation corners or exterior corners, how many gables or peaks are on one builder's home, on the front of it compared to the other one. The style of roof. A gable roof means that if you walk around to the side of the home and you look at the home, the siding goes up at a peak. If you're looking at the home from the front, you've got one main roof line that runs all the way from right to left. That's called a gable roof. That's a simpler roof line compared to what's called a hip roof. So a hip roof, walk around to the side of the home and you look up, you're going to see the roof actually comes down to meet that exterior wall. The roof comes down to meet the siding. So basically you've got roof coming down on all sides of the house, back, front, sides, meeting the exterior wall. That roof design, a hip roof, costs a little bit more than a gable roof. So look at the roofs. Look at the steepness of the roof. You might notice that one builder's exterior, the roof just seems taller than the other builder's exterior. Well, it costs more to get a little more height. You have a steeper roof pitch there. Maybe one builder's home has a dormer. So a dormer is like a little miniature roof, whether it's a shed roof or a gable roof, that's built on top of the main roof. It's just a design feature. It looks good. There's usually a window in this. So that's one of those things that costs, $2,000 more to have a dormer than to not have one. So that's another thing to look at. Look at the amount of stone or brick on the outside of the home. Does one builder's home have a lot more stone? One builder's home has a brick or stone belt, so that's where you've got like a 3-foot tall strip basically running across the front of the home. But the other builder's home, he's got that belt running across, but then at the garage it's stone all the way up the sides and over the top of the garage. The porches, the front porch, maybe one builder's house has a smaller front porch than the other one. Maybe one builder's house has a covered porch on the back of the house, and the other builder doesn't have that. Maybe one builder's garage is 22 by 23 and the other builder's is 21 by 22. So if you can go through and dissect the floor plans and look at the differences, then it's something that you can start to come to the determination of, okay, this makes sense why this builder's price was this much less than the other builder's price. You've compared the standard features, you've compared the floor plans, you've been inside of the house, you've looked to see what the quality is and the types of material that they're, one builder's using the double hung windows, the other's using the single hung windows. So you've now seen what all of these differences are. And so now you can say, okay, that makes sense why this builder is $40,000 more than this builder. Now, every once in a while, you could run into a case where the reason that there's a cost difference, and it's not going to be $40,000, but you could have a real small time builder. He or she maybe builds, 1 to 5 houses a year, and it's just them. They do all the bidding. They're the ones that are running the job. They're your salesperson. They're bringing you through the whole process. Whereas another home builder that you're talking to, they've got some employees. Maybe they've got 5 employees that work for them. They've got a project manager. They've got somebody that does paperwork in the office. Maybe they've got somebody that works out in the field. They've got a company vehicle. So they've got a little more overhead than this individual builder. So this individual builder may say, you know what? I'm really looking to fill that second slot for the year, and I'd be fine with making X amount of dollars on the home. So when I give this customer pricing, I'm going to figure in my profit at this amount. I'm good with that. Whereas the other builder, they've got to figure in that same amount of profit because they've got a certain profit margin they need to make in order to cover the cash flow that they need, in order to pay the employees that they have, in order to cover their overhead and run themselves as a successful business. So maybe everything's exactly the same, apples to apples, from one builder to the other, but the one guy, the one gal is 10 to 20. I mean, depending on the size and the price point of the home, let's say you're building a $1 million house. Well, one builder could be $30,000 less than another. He could be saying, the smaller builder, he or she could be saying, you know what, I would be fine making this amount of money. Whereas the other builder that has to make a certain amount on every house, they may be $30,000 more. That's probably on the higher end of things. But most likely you're probably going to run into a scenario where everything's exactly the same, but this guy or gal was $10,000, $15,000 less. And that could be a reason why, because they just don't have any overhead. Now, something else to consider, if everything's exactly the same from one builder to the next, and one particular builder is $15,000 less than another. I mean, if you're just looking at that number, that might be enough to say, you know what, I'm going with this one. It's going to save me $15,000. That's still a pretty close cost difference when it comes to the grand scheme of things. If you're going to be spending $500,000 on a home build, $400,000, $700,000, whatever that number is, you're going to be spending that on a home build. $15,000 is nothing. you want to really, really consider who do you like more? Who have you had a more enjoyable experience with? Because by the time you end up getting the pricing back from the builders, you've looked at floor plans, maybe you've met with these builders. So you've kind of come to know some of these builders. You've been dealing with them for a little bit. You know who's gotten back to you instantly or maybe quicker than another. You know who's been more responsive. It's just giving you a general feeling of, I feel like if I work with this builder, so far they've been really responsive to me. Whenever I have questions, they get back to me. Whenever I need something, pricing, they've been quick to get back to me with that. They just seem more excited about this, whereas, the other builder, they just seem like they're slammed. They're really busy. They probably don't care as much if they end up losing me or not. It's taken, 3-4 weeks to get pricing from them. Who do you feel like you know better? Who do you like better? Who do you trust more? Who do you get the better feeling from? Who do you see yourself working with? Who would be more enjoyable to work with? Those are things that you need to ask yourself, because if we're talking about a $15,000 difference and you just pick the lower price, and then you end up having a nightmare of a building experience because you picked the lower price and that was the only factor for choosing that builder was the lower price, you are definitely going to regret that. Guarantee you're going to regret that. So make sure you're bringing those things into consideration as well. One thing I want to go back to, before you actually end up meeting with builders, before you end up going to their model, do some research. Obviously, if you could find referrals, family members that have built and recommend somebody, friends that have built and recommend somebody, you can do your research on Google. There's different ways to do research. Make your list. This is after you determine what type of home you want to build. Starter track home, really inexpensive, medium grade, custom, forever home. So after you've done that, make your list of builders that you want to check out. Call the builder first and vet them over the phone. And this goes for you too. If you're a salesperson, if you're a builder, whatever. When somebody calls you, depends on the market, but when somebody calls you, don't just, and they want to meet with you, yeah, sure, let's meet. A meeting is going to be 2 hours long. Don't waste your time. There are certain things that you can find out about a potential customer or your potential home builder before you go and meet with them. You can have a list of questions that you want to ask the builder or that you want to ask a client. Have those questions ready. Interview that builder over the phone. You may find out that, okay, this builder, they're not giving me any confidence. They're not able to answer some of these questions. I don't like the answers that they're giving me. One of the questions, what's your timeline like, Mr. Builder? If I'm going to choose you as a builder, what does this process look like? How long is the build time? How long before we can start? Do you have openings, or are you booked out for, 6 months to a year? These may be things that you end up determining, okay, you know what? I'm not even going to go and meet with that builder because I've already found out some things over the phone that have really already allowed me to rule them out. So don't go waste 2 hours of your life by meeting with somebody that, and then coming to the conclusion of I'm not going to work with them, when you could have came to that conclusion over the phone call with them before you went to meet with them. So that's just a little tip as well, where you can vet before you actually meet with someone. So that's pretty good for what I wanted to talk about here. I guess the final thing, is pricing. Once the builders do end up giving you pricing, and you're going to do the same thing as you did with their floor plans, with their standard features, and maybe you've already dissected those. So put those out, take each builder's pricing, put them side by side, call out the difference. Okay, I see this line item in this builder's pricing, but I don't see it here. Make a list of all of the differences. Maybe the one builder, like we talked about earlier, is including a concrete driveway, and that's shown in their pricing, and they're including the building permits and the site improvements. But the other builder's pricing makes no reference of that. They're not including that. One builder includes $3.50 a square foot for their base flooring allowance. The other one is $2.50 a square foot. One builder's got $3,000 figured in for a light fixture allowance. The other builder has $1,800 figured in. And one builder has 20 recessed lights figured into your home. The other has 12. So there's all these things that you can look for and you want to compare against with the pricing. Now, this is something that I do offer as a service. If you want me to compare your pricing, if you want me to compare the builders for you and look at pricing, the floor plans, the standard features, that is something that I can do. I do have a service that allows for that. And I'm going to be putting out more content that is going to help you, the consumer, choose, compare your home builders, what to expect with the entire home building process. Basically, a tool that will allow you to, help choose your builder, know what to look for, know what to expect with the building process. But that's all I've got for this one. If you don't subscribe to the channel, please do so. Click the little bell for notifications to be notified of more videos like this. I really appreciate your time. Thank you, take care, and God bless.